What's good, guys? Share the leap here. I don't know why I sounded so sad when I said it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I've been kind of sad for this whole month. I've been trying to upload on my new computer and my new phone, but guess what? They didn't work. Just hear the audio. Okay. Warning. This is a warning. It's probably a premiere. I'm sorry about this, but it's gonna hurt your ears. So if you have headphones, then take them off right away. This is what happened. I spent 3 hours on this video, for this video that's about to come out, and they took away all the audio and all that, and they messed up the. I have audio recordings, but I can't find them, so they took them away. And after waiting 3 hours, for it to upload into my phone, it did this. Like, what is that? You know how angry I was when this happened? Like, the dark side came out, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I also had another video. I had 2 videos I wanted to upload from 2 weeks ago. I wanted to make my Leon, Subaru, and Goku. That didn't work. Audio keep getting messed up because of the software is dumb. And yeah, so I just had to let go of that rant real quick. I had 2 videos I wanted to make last week and this week, and then make another one Saturday. So hopefully you guys like this. This is What If Midoriya Had a Persona. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Leave a like and subscribe, and don't leave me. And now I gotta leave a warning at the beginning of the video that the video starts at 2. So I'll be back. I'll be back. Back! Okay, it took me like 5 minutes just to start it up again. Jeez Louise. Okay, so Midoriya is now, if you guys didn't know, yeah, this is What If Midoriya Had a Persona. Part 1 through 3. I'm just gonna record all of what I had before, if I remember from the top of my head, but I'm gonna add something different. So you guys ain't gonna never get that. It's gonna be lost media. Okay, I need to stop wasting time. It's like about to be 3 minutes into the video. Midoriya is just waking up, and he's surrounded by figures, and it's all black, and it's like, you know, when he's in the state where he sees all the One for All users. Just imagine that. He then sees someone with yellow hair, and this person says, "Welcome to the Velvet Room." And she says, "It's been a while since I have seen you." And Midoriya says, "Who are you?" And she I'm just gonna tell you. She says, "We haven't met yet, but I caused you great deals of pain in the past before I reached my true truth." And she says, I was helping you, but I turned to the wrong side, so I need you to stop me from doing that." And he looks closely and he says, "You look pretty much older than me. Who are you?" And she says, "Toga was my name, but you can just say T. Not the actual T, just the letter T. Oh, Toga. Yeah, it's Toga. Yeah, that works. Yeah." And this other guy was right next to her. She says, "Meet the master of this room. And his name is Igor," she says. And he says, "Your fate is intertwined with saving this world, I see. But you now have to worry about the other side, the heart of them. Young Midoriya, you need to save everyone, not just civilians, even the villains." And Midoriya says, "How? I'm quirkless." And he says, "You won't be quirkless for that much longer." And Toga then says, "Excuse my interruption, but All Might will be entering your presence very soon, in 3 months' time. So you will need to train. And you won't be remembering what's happening here, but you'll be meeting me and that tomorrow. But you won't remember this until you reach this room again. So good luck." And Midoriya says, "What do you mean, this room again? Who are these silhouettes?" And he wakes up. And he can't remember what happened in that dream. He says, "What happened? I thought I was talking to someone. I just remember a voice, though." But he did see this little. He did see a keychain um, on his phone that he never had before. And he seen this weird app, and it said Hero Nerve. And that's the app where he goes to get his persona. And he says, "What is that?" As he is walking out to go to school, he notices Bakugo, and Bakugo yells after him to come and play with them. What I mean by play is get bullied. And Midoriya says he has something better to do, and Bakugo chases after him. As Bakugo is chasing after him, Midoriya saying this. He says, "Why does Kachan act like this now? He's putting me in the dungeon, a place where I can't escape. I'm not the ruler of the castle." And as he says this, it says, "Nerve gear activated." Why did I say nerve gear? I'm thinking of Sword Art Online Hero gear activated. And Bakugo says, "What the heck? What is this app on my phone?" And both of them get transported. The other two didn't follow him. So it was just Bakugo and Midoriya. And someone else was there in that vicinity. And yeah, it was Toga. Toga is like in a corner. She doesn't know what just happened. And she sees Bakugo and Midoriya. And she says, "Well, I'll just watch from afar. I don't know these people." And Midoriya starts screaming. He says, "What is this place?" And it's a dungeon. He says, "Our school should be a little farther ahead. What is this?" And this is what Bakugo's saying. He says, "Yeah, what happened to our school's like another 5 to 10 minutes away. Maybe we can go ask our school or something." And Bakugo is like saying, "This is pretty cool. How did you do this, Midoriya? Did you get a quirk or something?" And Midoriya says, "No, I don't know how this happened. This happened because of the app on my phone. Hero Gear or something." And Toga then shows herself. She says, "Yeah, that app popped up on my phone too." And Bakugo was about to shoot an attack, but he says, "Oh, it's just someone who got trapped here." Well, there's no use. I can't think of the word. Laggily gagging? Or, I'm not hip with the terms. I'm an old head now after graduating. Okay. Yeah. So Midoriya then walks. He keeps behind Bakugo, and he sees the Velvet Room again. He says, "What is that? You guys don't see that room?" And Toga says, "No, I don't see this room you speak of." "What room?" And Bakugo says, "So you do have a quirk. You have an invisible quirk or something. And you put us here, you idiot." This is what Bakugo is saying. And Midoriya says, "No, I didn't." And Bakugo was about to punch Midoriya, but Midoriya falls back into the Velvet Room again. And he remembers everything of what they said. And Igor says, "Now do you know, now you must save a heart, or change a heart. It's up to you." And Midoriya says, "So is this my quirk or something?" And he says, "No, you have a power that not a lot of people can awaken. This is a world of shadows. These shadows are the evil incarnations of people's desires. You must destroy these desires and break the people's bad hearts of the villains and change their ways. That's how you become the #1 hero." And Toga says, "You'll be getting your ability very soon. You just need to change your heart." And Midoriya says, "A heart of a hero. I see." And he says, "So you're that person I met just now, Toga. So I'll try my best to save you, if I can." And Midoriya then leaves, and he says, Oh yeah, how will I use my power? And Igor said, I'll give you a hint. All Might. Become All Might. That's all I'll say. And Midoriya then walks away back into the present, and he says, All Might. We need to tell All Might about this world. And Toga says, why don't we just keep it a secret for now? And Midoriya says, no, we shouldn't do that. It wouldn't make any sense. But Midoriya then walks over to Toga. He says, the name is Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. And Bakugo says, oh brother, can we hurry up and get to the dungeon or this castle already? Maybe we can ask for help. And Toga says, nice to meet you, Toga. And Bakugo says, yeah, Bakugo's the name. But Midoriya says, I don't think we should use our names here. We don't know where we're at. We should use fake names. Kachan, Deku, and it looks like you have a tube. I'll call you Injector. No, Blood Queen. This is what Midoriya says. He says, yep, that works. And both of them are looking at him weird. He says, okay, time to go into this castle. As they walk into this castle, they hear screaming of Yakuza and Eri. Yeah, it's overhaul. You might be wondering, why would he have a castle? Well, this castle is just like a Yakuza organization. And he imagines himself as a king, kind of all of them. So that's why he has a castle. And this is just a shadow, this is just his desire to rule over his, oh my goodness, it turned off. To rule over the place, all the Yakuza games. This is what Overhaul wants. So as they walk inside, they see all the Yakuza, and Bakugo says, alright, sweet. It's time for us to go kick some tail. I can't be franchising like that on YouTube, but you know what Bakugo would say. So Toga says, we should hang back. We don't know how strong they are. And we need to figure out a way to get out of here. And Midoriya says, don't worry, I got this. And he says, looks like I gotta be a hero. And he runs up to Overhaul, and he says, are you the leader of this place? And Overhaul said, yes. And you're gonna die. And Midoriya says, we just want to escape from here. That's all we want. You can do whatever you want. And then he hears more screaming. And he runs to that direction. And Overhaul catches him and knocks him out. And Bakugo says, you idiot. This is why you don't talk to Yakuza. And Bakugo and Toga have to run away because there's too many of them. So Midoriya gets trapped in the room. He gets sent to the room with Eri. And he's chained up to the wall. And he says, why are you so bandaged? What has he done to you? And she says he's been using my power to make me suffer. And Midoriya says, I see now. So this power was given to me to help from the shadows, I see. But what does All Might have to do with this? And she asks for Midoriya to help her. But Overhaul says, you won't be getting any help from that person. And Overhaul then was about to disintegrate Midoriya. That's Shigaraki. He was about to punch Midoriya, but Midoriya saying, "No, I'll save everyone here. I'll save this young girl." And Eri says, "Please don't hurt me. I didn't do anything." And Overhaul says, "Eri, shut up." And Midoriya starts to hear a voice. He hears, "You want to save them, right? Then you need power. Call on me, and I'll give you the strength to be a hero." And Midoriya then summons something from his face, and he says, "Take off this mask, and you'll become a great hero." And Midoriya takes off this mask, and everything starts to shake around them. And Midoriya as he took off this mask, Bakugo attacks Overhaul from the back and his soldiers, Yakuza soldiers, and they turn into animals. And Midoriya then steps down and he says, "Persona." What the? No, I heard something on a. What the? Oh, okay. Sorry for getting distracted. Yeah, it was my phone. I thought I heard a notification. I was like, where did that come from? Yeah, it was just my dad. Okay. And Midoriya then shoots 100% barrage, and he shoots it right at a persona, and this persona shoots fire at him, and before it could even hit Midoriya, he kills it, and he takes it as his own, and he says, "It looks like I can take your these animals' abilities. It seems." And Bakugo is shocked by this. He says, "This is your quirk. You can take these weird animal things and make them your power." And Overhaul then breaks out the room and he runs to go get more guards. And they start to get overwhelmed after 10 to 5 minutes because Midoriya starts to get tired because he just awakened his new power. And Toga and Bakugo are starting to run out of stamina too. And Eri said, "You need to escape from here. I don't really exist. So come back, go for the real one." And Midoriya says, "Are you sure?" And she says, "I'll be the exact same, or I'll forget about you." And Midoriya says, "I'll come to save you." But how do we change his heart, though? And Eri points to this locked away room. "That's where I go, and that's where he keeps his treasure. You should go there. That's what Uraraka said to go to." And Midoriya said, "Uraraka? Who is this?" And she says, "That was the person that helped me to know where the treasure is. She could figure out a way to escape. And she had a scientist with her or something." And Toga then says, "We need to run." And they all they have to abandon the area because they're starting to get overwhelmed. And they bust out of the castle, and the nerve gear starts to activate when they're about to reach the exit. And it says, "Exiting, opening. Please proceed now." And Overhaul finally called for all his backup, and they all escape. And now it's nighttime now, so they were in there for like over 10 hours, I would say. They're about to go to school, and now it's after school, and it's about to be nighttime. And Toga is saying, "That was one crazy thing there. How did we even escape from there?" And Midoriya says, "I got a new quirk. That was awesome." And Bakugo says, "Congratulations, but how the hell did we even escape? What about that girl? Is she going to be alright?" And he says, "Eri's going to be alright. That's just a cognitive version of herself. It's not the real one. That's just a fake world, you could say, or a different dimension. That's what she was telling me. Now, we just need to change his heart, but we gotta first figure out about that Uraraka person and the scientist she was speaking of." And this scientist is just, oh my goodness, I cannot remember her name. But the scientist you will figure out more about. But Midoriya says, Bakugo, let's head to my house. We need to figure out more information." And Toga says, "I probably should head home." And Midoriya then says, I need your number to keep contact with you. You're going to be a great asset to us." And Bakugo says, "Asset? She just was in the wrong place at the wrong time." And Midoriya says, "No. Don't you realize we can go into a different world? It's not the same as ours. I don't know if that's my quirk or not, or this app. But if we can take abilities from that world, we can make ourselves even stronger. And this one, maybe." He tries to summon his persona, but it doesn't work. He says, "Okay, it only works in the other world. So if we keep going to that different world, we can use different abilities. But we only can use our main quirks in this world, it seems." And Bakugo saying, "Oh, I can get more power, and we can figure out how to get that power into this world." I see. That's very smart. And Toga then hands her the phone number, and she says, "Well, then I'll see you guys tomorrow then." And she goes to do more research on Yutaraka and the Yakuza, and she can figure out who Overhaul is. This is a couple of days later. And Midoriya has been training, and his mom sees that he's been training. He says, "I'm going to the My Hero Academy. You know why. But I figured out my quirk." And she's saying, "Oh, can you show it to me?" And he says, "It only works in a. I can go to a different place. That's when my quirk works. I can use fire and a fire fist, you could say." And she says, "Oh, it only works in a small space." Well, at least you have a power. And Midoriya says he bows down to his mom. He says, "I need to do something very important today. I have to skip school." And he said, this Midoriya would say some stuff like that. He would have to skip school for something very important. It's to be a great hero. This is what Midoriya would probably say. Or he would just tell her right after he was done with it. And he brings a baseball bat. He finds. And Bakugo brings a sword. But Bakugo was like, "Give me that bat. I'll take the sword, Midoriya." And Toga brings... what would Toga bring? Oh yeah, I remember what Toga brings. I had to remember what she brings. And Toga then says, "Well, I got these. I stole them from the Yakuza." And she brought weapons. Yeah, guns. And Bakugo was saying, "Holy crud, how did you get these?" And Midoriya says, "We don't need those." And then Toga points out that they have bats and stuff. And she says, "Well, I'll just do a wield then." And she was able to grab 3 guns. But Midoriya was like, "Okay, we'll take them just in case." And he he holsters the gun. He says, "Well, I don't even know how to use one of these." And Bakugo is saying, "Just aim and shoot." And Midoriya is saying, "You're being quite nice to me, Bakugo. What happened?" He says, "I want to go back to that world. That's why. After that, I'm going to be mean to you again." And he says, he also tells Midoriya his quirk is still weaker than his. And Midoriya says, "Alright, just wait until I become #1 hero then." And Toga is saying, "You want to be #1 hero? What for?" And Midoriya says, "Because he's been quirkless all his life and he wants to help people who don't have the same fortune as him now." And All Might inspired him. And Toga says, "Well, I'll help you towards that goal. But we need to get back to that place first." And she says, "This could be very entertaining. I want to go back to see if I can learn those new abilities, like you said." And they all go back. And Midoriya then goes back to the Velvet Room. He says, "I have to go to the Velvet Room. You guys can't see it." And Bakugo says, "This is so unfair. You have another room, another dimension room that we can't see." And Toga says, "Maybe you can give us upgrades or something in there." And Midoriya says, "I'll see." So as Midoriya goes into there, he sees both of his 2 personas he got. He sees the one persona. That's the name of the persona that inspired him. His first persona is the One. It's just one for all, basically. I mean, it's All Might, but it's just one for all, kind of, you could say. And DH. DH is just a fire. I think it was a eagle hog I made of it. So they're both gonna combine, and it's gonna be a eagle human, you could say. He's gonna be called the one DK. Yeah, sounds like Donkey Kong. So he can now shoot a fire fist and barrages of like All Might punches now with this, because he combines both of his cards. Both of his masks together. And Igor says you can fuse them to make even more powerful ones, but your bonds must be stronger with with the people around you. And Toga says, "You're gonna create a bond with me right after this. So just be ready for what's gonna happen. And Bakugo is gonna make a bond with you too. So when Midoriya says, okay. So Midoriya walks out and he says, well, I want to trust you guys with something. I want to be a hero in the shadow for now. We can change the hearts of these people in here. And Bakugo says, how? With that treasure in that secret place, we can change it. And Toga says, sure, as long as it's entertaining. And I get to get these blood samples. I think we can take the blood samples back to the real world, and I can use those as camouflage. Because she tells them her abilities, and she says, I can go into good camouflage if I have enough blood of those enemies. And Midoriya says, yeah. But we need to figure out who this Yutaraka person is. But Yutaraka is watching from afar, and her hacker is telling them what they're saying. They're saying her name. But she's gonna approach them very soon, but not right now. Oh yeah, I'm about to be on part 2. This is part 2 territory now. And now Midoriya is about to make his bond. He's saying, we will now be phantom heroes. And Bakugo says, shut up, Deku. And Deku is now my hero name. And Bakugo says, fine, explosion, star. And yeah, Toga just sticks with Bloody Queen. That works. And he both shakes their hands and he says, well, this is our new organization, I guess. And something starts to shake around him, he says. And it says, and it sounds like All Might. Thou art I. Thou hast established a new bond. A blood oath that is now taken form. And now it has broken into the will of heroes. Now, you have awakened what arcana the arcana would oh yeah, I guess I'll make her Empress. Toga's Empress, and I guess I would try to make it I'll make it more themed towards my hero. So I'll give Toga Empress because she's one of the more important ones, and Bakugo will be fire, a fire arcana, you could say, or the Hitaro or something. But I'll call him the fire arcana. They will give you stronger bonds you'll need to become stronger. And these were his first 2 bonds. And everything unfreezes. And he says, oh, so that's going to keep happening, I see. And they're questioning what was going on. He says, nothing. Persona. And he summons his persona. And his persona sees Yutaraka. And Yutaraka summons her persona. And he says, I think that's her, right there. I see her, with my persona. And Bakugo looks up and he sees her too. And she sneaks into the shadows. And they chase after her. And they all run into Overhaul. And Overhaul says, it looks like you finally came back. I won't allow you to steal my treasure. And Toga then shoots her needles right at Overhaul to inject him. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, did that noise again. Yeah, something was about to happen with the audio. So anyway, as I was saying, Midoriya gets stopped by Overhaul. As Overhaul was about to attack, Yutaraka uses her gravity persona, float, to make sure he doesn't use his attacks. And she was about to try to kick him by accelerating her gravity, but Overhaul was a step ahead, and he shoots out his quirk. Yeah, they can use quirks in this world. And she gets stabbed right in the gut. And Hatsume then connects with Midoriya, Bakugo, and Toga. And she says, if you don't remember Hatsume, she's she's part of the H1 of UA, I think. Oh yeah, the Department of Support. Yeah, she makes the guns and stuff. So she's gonna be their ammunition and make all the weapons for them. And their hacker, you could say. And she says, "My name's Hatsume. You need to help Yudaraka. Overhaul's weakness is his arms. If you destroy his arms, then you can take his treasure and destroy this place." That's what I can give you information from the far, but I'm mostly powerful from behind the scenes. And the other persona's powers are fire and water are their weaknesses, the ones around him. And Midoriya says, "Which one is fire?" And she says, "The one with the bull." And Midoriya then shoots 100 punches with Fire Fist. Yeah, it sounds like Fire Fist Ace at that persona. And Bakugo shoots his explosion nitroglycerin at the other one, but it doesn't affect it. It just absorbs it and shoots it right back at Bakugo, and it burns him. And Toga is shocked by this, and she says, "I can't die here. I won't allow it." And her persona shows up, and it has tubes and needles all over its body, and it shoots a needle right at Overhaul, and it sticks him right in the forehead, and it starts absorbing his blood, and he drops Yudaraka, and Toga then goes to catch Yudaraka, and she runs away with her, and she says, "Let's see." And she takes some of her blood and heals Yudaraka. And Yudaraka says, "Thank you." And she says, "How are you doing that?" It's taking away the whole wound. And the whole wound gets fully healed. And she says, "Thank you for saving my life." And Yudaraka says, "Here's 10,000 yen. You can get all around this this palace. You can get all the money you can." So yeah, Yudaraka then says, "It's time for us to get back into the battle." And Bakugo is getting really angry, and he's about to waken it too. He says, "Midoriya ain't gonna be the only one that has this. I'm gonna be more special." And he summons his explosive persona, and it's already breathing fire. And his sweat starts to really evaporate really quickly, and it gives this persona more fume. And he shoots it at Overhaul, and he says, "Extreme explosion." And Overhaul is just shooting up walls from the ground, and he says, "Eri, get over here this instant." And he summons Eri, and he then grabs her by the head, and he starts to absorb her into him. And he says, "Watch me at full power, you dang insects." And he starts powering up a lot. And Midoriya kills the other water persona. So he says, "Okay, it seems like I have 3 personas now, but how do I even use them?" And Yudaraka says, "Since he's so big, I can use my gravity on him. If we just need a way to get him out of the air." And Midoriya says, "Don't worry, I got this." And since it's similar to One for All, one of his personas, it's still in him. He just flies up there, and Yudaraka then throws a gadget at him, and he then grabs his pistol and shoots at Overhaul. And Overhaul says, "Those mean nothing," until gravity starts to affect him. And those pistols had gravity in them from the support department of support. Yeah, Hatsume made that weapon, and she says, "Good. Now Yudaraka, attack him." And she uses her gravity acceleration. Yeah, like she's OP in this one. Her persona can increase her abilities, and she can attack while using her gravity. So basically OP. And she then punches Overhaul right in the face and accelerates gravity to make him fall to the ground. and this both hurts Eri and this cognitive version of Overhaul. And he says, "Please don't. I need Eri. No." And he tries to crawl back to where the door is, but um, Toga summons to become Overhaul, and she's like, all this power is in this guy, and an Overhaul looks back and he sees Toga is like him, and she punches him right in the face, and keeps punching him in the gut, and then she knees him right in the chin, and he gets knocked out. And she then says, "Well, give me these arms." And she rips off both of his arms. Yeah, Toga's on timing. And she then says, "Midoriya, or Bakugo, here." And Midoriya then blasts his arms off. And he then, Yutaraka and Toga then pull out Eri from there, so she doesn't get absorbed anymore. And he goes back to his normal human form. And Togo's like, "Stand back, I got this." And she then punches the door down. And she's like, "Well, where's this treasure you guys were speaking of?" And Bakugo sees money. "Oh, there is a lot of money here." And Yutaraka says, "Yep, there's tons of money. That's what I do to, Hatsumi helps me. Because I help her get the money for the gadgets." And Midoriya picks up $10. He says, "Well, I guess I can get this as allowance." And Bakugo says, "Well, it's time for us to steal this treasure." As they grab it, Overhaul says, "Please, I need it. It'll change me." Yutaraka says, "I know it will change you. That's the point. You're going to change your organization to a good one." And she grabs it and says, "You guys better run." And Midoriya says he's not that fast. And he says this is his first time ever being a hero, so he doesn't know what to do. And Yutaraka says, "Fine." And she uses acceleration. And she says, "Hatsume, where's the car at?" And she says, "It's going to be right at the exit where they first popped in at." And she then Hatsume runs to the exit. But she was in the palace with them, but she was at a far further distance. And she says the car is already going to be started, and she disappears from that world. And Yutaraka says, "Acceleration." And they pass right by Eri, and Midoriya says, "I'll save you in the real world too." And Overhaul says, "Please don't do this. I want to be myself." And he starts to disappear. He doesn't die, though. And they all escape the palace while it's exploding all around them. And now we're on to part 3 now. So as it's done exploding all around them, Hatsume introduces herself and she says, "I'm also a persona user." And Toga says, "Persona, huh?" So I guess other people have these abilities. And Yutaraka says, "No, only met her with this ability. And she got this ability because I brought her with me one time." But I don't want to talk about the person though. He escaped. And Hatsumi says, "You don't need to incriminate yourself. It wasn't your fault." And Midoriya says, "Oh my goodness, no. Oh my goodness, no. No." Okay, the audio was about to get messed up again. Okay, so as I was saying, Yutaraka and Hatsume then introduce themselves. And Yutaraka says she knows why how to get their treasures because she did it on accident. She it was a smaller time criminal that was stealing money from one of her friends, and she figured out this ability, and she killed him on accident, and in that world. And Midoriya says, "So what happens if we kill that person?" And Yutaraka says they should suffer a shutdown. They break basically, and she says that's why I didn't want to kill Overhaul. I wanted to make sure he was good and safe. I guess to a default. I never want to see something like that again. And Hatsume says, "Yep, that happened, but it was my fault for giving you the weapon to begin with." Okay, no, like, nothing. Okay, I got distracted. Sorry. So Midoriya then. Oh my goodness. Now, okay, what the heck? What happens after? Oh my goodness, my brain forgot what happens after. Midoriya then says, "Well, do you guys want to join our organization, the Phantom Heroes?" And Uraraka says, "As long as I get most of the money, that's a deal then. The more the merrier, I would say. The more safer I am." And Hatsume says, "I'll provide you all the gear you need to make you guys, make sure you guys are strong. And just call me SG, since you like using code names." And Uraraka says, "We were listening on you when the first time you came here." And Bakugo says, "Then why didn't you help us? You guys are idiots." And Uraraka says, "Well, you got that right. Sorry about that." And Toga says, "Well, I'm just glad I could save you." And Uraraka says, "I'm glad too. We're gonna be good friends." And she shakes Toga's hand. And another, "Thou art I." "Thou hast established two new bonds. The birth of life and life and oh wait, what is life would be Uraraka because she can use gravity and it's a part of life, and I forgot what was Hatsumi. She's a support, so oh yeah, night. Yeah, I think hers would be night basically. And yeah, we have four arcanas right now. We're gonna get more, but in the future. So our now there's Empress, there's Fire, there's Life, and Night. Now there's like 10 other ones I think, but we'll worry about that for part 4 or part 6. But anyway, they all escape and they drive in Hatsume's car, and she drops Midoriya off um, at their houses, and she then swings right back around to him, and she then unannounces herself there. She says, "Your persona is really great. I need your contact info. I forgot about that." And Midoriya opens up the door and he says, "Sure." And he says, "Well, it's already dinner time. You can just join us." Then this is what Hatsume is. Hatsume just busts right in. She says, "Thanks for the food." And she then eats half of the food there. And Midoriya's mom is like, "Who is this woman?" And Midoriya says it's a friend he met today. He also met another friend today. And she then explains that she's going to the My Hero Academy to be a support, because she's not that strong. But Midoriya says, "You're very strong if you were able to help me out today." And Midoriya says, "Oh yeah, it's in 3 months, so you better be prepared." And Hatsume then leaves and says, "You darn right I'm going to be prepared." And she says, "Gotta work on my gadgets now." And she just jumps out the window. Okay, she does not. I was just joking. She does not jump out the window. She then goes outside and she goes into her car and drives away. And Midoriya says, "Well, I was one eventful day." And 3 months later, Midoriya then reports this. This is Midoriya, what Midoriya would say. Overhaul turns himself in, and the hero Aizawa saves a little girl from this place. It was a crime organization that fell because of Overhaul giving himself up. and no one understands why he did it. And as he sees this on the news, because it's finally now being published. Oh yeah, it's been like three. It's not been 3 months. It's okay. When I say 3 months, this is like 3 months before he meets All Might. That's what I mean. So this is now he's about to meet All Might on this day. So he looks up and he sees this poster of himself, and Hatsume did this, and Bakugo and Toga and Yutaraka are on this poster, and it says Hatsume used a voice cover and silhouettes of themselves, and they said, "We are the Phantom Heroes. We are the ones that broke Overhaul's heart, and we'll break many more villains' hearts if you don't change your ways." Overhaul was a criminal that was torturing a little girl. We figured this out by going to his heart, and we changed it to make him confess of his sins. Now, anyone else who doesn't want to confess, you'll meet our justice. And trust me, we have two ways of getting rid of you: breaking you, or making you change. Now you can choose. And our leader, she doesn't say it out loud. She says our leader D will I'll say Duku. You would say Duku because she says it wrong. Duku will. Part 3 is so weird. Okay, will call you out and make you face justice. And she uses a hologram of his voice. He says, "I will call you all injustices in this world and become the #1 hero. Remember that. And that's for you, All Might, too. We'll be very acquainted very soon." And he says, "I'll be taking that spot, but from the shadows." And the recording ends. And Midoriya is shocked by this. And he's like, "I can't believe that actually happened." And he sees All Might is fighting a sewer monster. And he says, "Oh crap, it's All Might. I wasn't actually expecting that to actually happen. Actually meet him. What is she, psychic or something?" And he runs over to All Might. And All Might says, "Young one, stay over there. I can handle this. You don't need to use your quirk." And Midoriya cannot use his quirk. He was going to use a gun. But he didn't realize that All Might would probably arrest him. And All Might then traps him, the sewer monster, with one punch. And he says, "That's good. You were able to capture that monster. Can I get your autograph?" This is what Midoriya is saying. He says, "Young one, of course I'll give you my autograph." And Midoriya then says, "I'm just so surprised to see you here. Well, there is something I need to tell you. Will you believe me?" And All Might says, "Of course I'll believe you. What is it, young one?" Midoriya then tries to tell him about the palace in Overhaul. He says, "I'm the leader of that organization." And he says, "So you changed this Overhaul's heart, you say?" And he nods and he says, "Of course, I'm quirkless in this world, but when I go to the second world, I can become very strong." And All Might then notices he has a gun. He says, "Young one, you shouldn't have a..." Oh my goodness. Young Midoriya is your name, right? "You shouldn't have a gun." And he says, "I just keep it on me, just in case. You know, being a hero without a weapon is very dangerous." And Midoriya says, "I'm going to be stealing another person's heart soon. I would like for you to join me, All Might, if you could, to show you I'm not joking about this other world. You could be a very great asset." And All Might says, "How about you don't go to this other world? I'll let you off with a warning." And he says, "If I find you again, young Midoriya, stealing people's hearts, it sounds like villainy to me." And Midoriya says, "I know it sounds like a villainy to you, but but it's not. I'm gonna be a strong hero just like you, even stronger. And All Might flies away, but Midoriya jumps on him, and he says, "Just listen to me. Trust me. Just believe me. I'm not lying to you. This will really help if you would just listen." And All Might says, "Fine. How about you show me this palace then?" All Might kind of believes him and also doesn't. And All Might says, it's not like I can you can show me actual proof that you did that to Overhaul." And Midoriya says, "All right, I'll figure out something." And he opens up his nerve gear, and he doesn't see anything around him that has anything like, basically what he's saying is he doesn't see anything around him that has a dungeon or a palace. He says, "What the heck is this?" And Midoriya then says, "Hold on, I'll be back." And he jumps off the building. And yeah, he's been training, so he's a little bit superhuman now. A little bit. He only trained for 3 months. So All Might follows him, and he says, "You look very built for someone who barely looks like they trained." And Midoriya says, "Yep, I'm gonna be going to the Hero Academy." And he says, "Well, I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes at the most." And All Might then he hears the app on his phone. He says, "What the heck is this?" And Midoriya says, "There's someone with the oh my god with the app. The app is activating. I wish I had Toga, but or Bakugo here, but you'll do, All Might." And he says, All Might starts coughing, and he says, "This can't be real." And Midoriya sees that he's coughing, and he says, "Why are you coughing so much?" And then he says, it says, "Almost activated." And it's, yeah, you're going to be surprised by this. And it says, "What? Almost activated?" And it says, halfway done with it. And Midoriya says, the number 1. It says, 90% complete. And he says, All Might. And it says, fully activated. And they were traveling all around the city in those 5 to 10 minutes, with because All Might was there, and he was making it go faster. And it was right in front of the My Hero building when this happened. And All Might's palace shows up, and he says, "What is this place?" It looks like he sees a big statue of All Might, and he says, "Well, All Might, this is your place, your palace, it seems. I'm surprised you have one of these." And he says, "I guess maybe you have a little bit of evil in you." And Midoriya laughs. He says, "I guess no one's not all perfect." And All Might says, "What do you mean? Is this your quirk? You have a very strong quirk, but get me out of here." And Midoriya says, "Follow me." And yeah, this is all a part 3. I know this it sounded a lot better, but I gotta remember off the top of my head what I had, because I didn't write I can't find the script of what I had to, so I'm going off the top of my memory. So All Might then follows Midoriya, and he sees a younger version of himself, and he sees photos of his all the other users. And Midoriya says, "It seems like it says 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it has you on that photo. So that must have been your teacher or something on that 7th one." And All Might says, "Young Midoriya, don't question this. I don't know what this is." And he hears coughing from someone. He said, he hears, "United States Smash!" And Midoriya summons his persona, and he punches right at this thing that was shooting a shockwave, and it hurts his hand. And he says, "That must be you, All Might." It must be your shadow version of yourself. And All Might says, no, this can't be. And All Might sees a younger version of himself, and he says, don't worry, All Might is here. And he has ladies all around him, and he says, I will always be number one, kid. Now get out of this place right now. And he sees his other self, and he says, what are you doing here, me? Why do you have this kid here? And All Might says, what? Why do I have this place? What is this palace thing you speak of, Midoriya? What is this? And he says, you're hiding from your true heart. And he says, he's trying to steal our heart. He's trying to steal our mostly valuable treasure. That's what he's trying to do, All Might. We need to kill him. If we kill him here, he won't be noticed in the real world. And All Might says, no. Why would I do such a thing? He's an inspiring young hero. And All Might starts to, Shadow All Might, or Evil All Might, you could say, says, don't make me laugh. You're only doing this because you have nothing else in your life. After we're dead, no one's gonna remember us. You know this. We're gonna be the hero that died a lone, painful death from All for One. You know that. You'd even kill him, I bet. That's what I'm starting to think. Because there's still villainy, and I bet he's still causing it. But don't worry about that. When we make ourselves young again, we will kill him. And he shows not Overhaul, One for All in the cognitive version. And Overhaul is kneeling to All Might. He says, look at this. Don't you want that? Just imagine all that power right there. We defeated that man, and we don't even know if he's really dead. And All for One is like, yes, sir, Master All Might. I will become a great servant. And Midoriya's like, he has his persona out, and he's like, yeah, All Might, I don't think we should exit this place yet. We should defeat this All Might. And he says, I don't even need my guards to help me. And he summons his powerful armor. He goes into a Gundam. This is what All Might does. He says, All Might Gundam. And he then shoots 100% one for all at Midoriya and All Might. And All Might is barely able to dodge because he's losing his limit. He's starting to go back to his Small Might form. And as this is happening, other All Might goes back to his small Might form because they're the same person. He says, no, how could you? And he goes back to his normal form. And he says, of course, look at us. We're all weak and dying. And Midoriya says, why are you dying, All Might? And he says, because of that person on the floor there. He injured me very badly, and I can't use my powers for that long. And that's why I must transfer them to another user. And Midoriya says, if you want to, I wouldn't mind accepting your power. I'm quirkless, actually. And he says, in this world, this is the only way I get power to help myself become a hero. And if you need me to, I'll stop coming here. I'll promise. And I'm gonna change the hero world in a good way. I will not forget your sacrifices for your body and stuff. You can believe in me. And All Might says, how about we get out of here first? Then that's a maybe. But All Might says, what the heck? I don't think your body will be able to handle this, but here, take that. And he starts to see a persona, and he says, what is that? And the persona eats the hair from One for All, and he says, it's gonna take a couple of days to digest, but we gotta get out of here first. And All Might says, why did you give the hair to him? And he says, he seems strong enough if he's able to handle his own against you. Myself, he's gonna be a great hero. I believe in him. He didn't have to show me this world. He could have just walked right past me with that autograph and kept hurting, and kept taking people's hearts. But he didn't. So he has a little bit of honesty in him. And All Might says, well, that honesty is going to kill him. And All Might then throws a punch at Midoriya, and Midoriya is barely able to dodge this punch. And All Might says, you think I'm done? And he kicks Midoriya right in the head, and he goes flying through the My Hero building. And Midoriya was barely able to survive that attack. He was like, he's coughing. He's like, this is All Might when he was in his prime. This is ridiculous. And All Might then summons, he says, looks like I can use, in this world, is my imagination. He then summons fire from his hands, and he says, it seems like that persona you have has fire. Let me use some fire then. He says, 100% United States smash. Burn all flames. And he starts throwing fire. Yeah, like, this is All Might's own timing. He starts throwing fireballs at Midoriya, and Midoriya is getting hit by all of them. And Midoriya passes out, and his persona starts to disappear. But All Might says, with the last of his strength in his big form, he punches his other self at the back of the head. And he takes the attack pretty well, but he says, you're not going to lay another finger on that boy. Do you understand? And All Might starts laughing at him. He says, you're too weak to even hang with me. I don't even know, why did you even try? And he says, if only if I knew this All Might's weakness. And he hears someone in the background. He hears Hatsumi, or SG. She says, All Might, nice to meet you. I work with Midoriya. I kind of heard he lost signal a while back, so I kind of got worried. So I followed him to this location, and he sent a text of these code words to say. He was recording everything with your conversation. I'm surprised he even did that. Oh yeah, like I said, Midoriya is smart, pretty smart, so he would probably record or send text messages to find these dungeons. It's been 3 months since they found one, so yeah. So All Might says, what? So he's been calculating this all this time? And Midoriya finally wakes up again. He says, All Might, a hero needs to be saved sometimes too. And he summons, he says, with this persona, with this arcana, I'll become a great hero. And Midoriya's, a new card forms in front of Midoriya, and it says the hero card. And this represents All Might. And he says, my fifth arcana, the hero. And he summons all 4 of the arcanas he has. He summons, the Empress, for healing. He heals himself. He summons fire for one of his personas. He then summons, oh my goodness, wait, was it gravity? Or was it gravity? What is Utarakas? Oh my goodness, how did I forget? Support. He summons weapons. Oh my goodness, what is Utarakas? Oh my goodness, how did I forget? What is it? Heart or what? It's not water. It's will. Oh my goodness, I kind of forgot what hers is. Yeah, Bakugo's is fire. Toga is healing. Hitami is support items. She's a knight. Oh my goodness, what is? I forgot what Yutaraka is. But it has to do with gravity. So he summons all of those abilities, and he charges right at All Might. As he charges at All Might, he yells, 100%! All kind of persona attack! And All Might says, like that attack will hurt me. And All Might holds him, and he says, what are you doing? And he says, well, you looks like you're going to have to take that attack full on. He says, you idiot. That could have hurt us really. And Midoriya is fast enough because the cells from All Might is working faster in this world and from the hair. And it charges up quick, a little bit more quicker. And he punches All Might right in the gut. And it sends both All Mights flying back. And he says, looks like I'm going to take that treasure if I need to. And both of them get flying back into a water tower. And Midoriya says, looks like they're both knocked out. Well, I can go find that treasure then. And he finds the treasure, and it shows gloves. And he says, gloves. And he sees something that smiles. He says, denters. I guess that means for a smile. And the gloves represents his master and his smiling. And All Might says, this is evil, All Might says. No, please don't take those. I don't want to be changed. And All Might says, is this change going to hurt me in a bad way? And Midoriya says, it's up to you, All Might. It's up to you if you want to have this place and have regret in your heart. I only changed the heart of the people who need it. And it looks like you need help, All Might. And All Might then grabs it, and other All Might is crying. He says, that's of our master. Don't let go of it. Please, that's our treasure. And All Might says, she wouldn't want me to have regret. She wouldn't want me to keep saving people and be a great hero. And he thanks young Midoriya, and he says, well, it's time for us to go then. And all of the, so he didn't, All Might was overconfident because he's the #1 hero. He didn't send none of his guards or ask for All for One to help him. And All for One goes to consult him, and he says, thank you. But, like I said, I can still feel him. He's still out there. You didn't kill him, All Might. And Midoriya sees that the place is starting to fall down. And he says, well, we gotta get out of here. And they both run for the exit. And All Might slips, and Midoriya then uses One for All at 100%, and he breaks his legs to escape. And he sees that both of his legs are broken. He says, what the heck is this? How are both of my legs broken? All Might says, it shouldn't be working this fast. Well, you're going to be the #1 hero next. You promised me. Now, if we should use that on those palaces as a last resort to defeat the most evils of villains. Do you understand, young Midoriya? And Midoriya says, yep. And All Might sees that Midoriya has lots of money on him. He says, where did you get this money from? And he says, it's for Uraraka. She would probably want the money. She needs it. And he says, oh, another friend of yours. Well, I'll be training you for the next 9 months anyway. You can introduce me then. And that's where I'll be leaving off for this part. And yes, that's how long it was. I made 1, 2, 3, and it got deleted. And all in 3 hours. So it is like crazy. Like, I may put so much effort into it, and then it just disappears. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe, like I said. And yeah, peace out. Bye. I said bye.